Thanks for coming out. I'm Jeff Johns from HHB Audio, or HHB Canada. We deal in a lot of AES 67 network audio products, and I'm not going to give you a sales presentation here. I'm just going to give you some basics. I did this similar kind of talk at AES last, I guess in August or something, July. So seems to be quite a topic. Everyone's talking about it, and sometimes it makes a difference for us, and sometimes people just working in a studio solo, it doesn't matter, that we don't care. But right now in broadcast and in installer audio, there's a lot of networked audio because obviously it's a lot cheaper to pull cable. And once you got an infrastructure set up with a network, then you don't have to run a bunch of analog audio cables or digital audio cables. So your life becomes easier. Can we see that? Very good. Yeah, okay. This is something that CalRec put together. CalRec is a broadcast audio console. In most, I think 80% of the trucks in North America is a CalRec console or two, and that's one of our products. I'm just going to do a few plugs along the way, why not? So CalRec has been in the game very early on, and so IP audio is a lot of things, and I'm going to just give you a few things that you should keep in mind when you're dealing with audio over internet, audio over IP, audio over your network. So timing is one of the big things, and how we time our clocks as opposed to word clock like we used to do, or like we still do in recording studios, but we use a thing called PTP, which we stole from the network people, and you can see that the internet guys are starting to take over our lives, and we talked about that yesterday as well. So precision timing protocol came out in 2002, and they updated it in 2008. And 2002 protocol, version 1, is not compatible with version 2 protocol. You need a bridge to go between the two protocols. I don't think I really have time to get into that technicality, but if you have a Dante system and you want to talk to an AES or Ravenna kind of system, you need a bridge to bridge the clocks between each other. Version 2.1 is coming out. That won't fix the version 1 problem, but it is downward compatible, or it will be downward compatible with version 2. AES 67 is our group, like the AES people actually are responsible for this, and working with SIMPTE standards. And SIMPTE 2110 standard is a standard that will allow video and audio to travel together in the network. And you get the large plants, TV stations and whatnot, you need to be able to have your picture and sound come back at the same time when you're shooting it around in high-speed networks or across the country on fiber networks or whatever. So I just wrote a bunch of stuff here that you could read. There's a bunch of protocols: Ravenna, Livewire, QLAN, Dante, AVB, and to decide which one's better for what. Dante seems to be taking over the installer market for. You can get little Dante boxes, little breakout things. AVB is a lot used in live. Dante's taking over live as well. But Ravenna and AES 67, which are fully interoperable, that is where broadcast and SIMPTE 2110, AES 67, it's all traveling over TCP/IP, which I guess by now we should all know what that means. And they travel, like AES 67 travels on layer 3 of the OSI layers of the internet. Just a little picture of the different layers. MAC address, everyone has a MAC address, and when you are dealing with transport audio, you've got to have a discoverable ability, so every device has to have some sort of a name, some sort of an identification, so that we can talk to each other. You have this device and this device, so that speaker could have an IP address, or it could have it has a MAC address if it's an internet device, and everyone is unique. And sometimes when you have to communicate with a different device, it has to go down to MAC address level to actually find what it is. 2110 we talked about. I'm trying to burn through this really quick. So yeah, so I talked about that already. So 1588, it's a Nitro Police standard. It works for networks. When we have networks or switches, we need to basically travel with other data in the network. And so when you have, say you're in a large plant and you have to get your audio or your video, your audio has to travel and not interfere with the office data, and the audio has to have priority. So we need to have managed switches. We need to use what they call QoS, quality of service, so that audio gets preference. We need to use PTP. We need to turn off any kind of where they shut the ports off, that green Ethernet. You turn that off because you could just lose a port, and then all of a sudden your audio needs to come through that port, and you're not doing well. SAP is discovery. So when you put a new device on the network, it has to have, it says, hey, I'm Joe, and I have this many ports, I have this many I's and O's, and so everyone has a different name. You can change the name, but they need to be different in the network, so that, yeah. So here is a look at a little bit of a Dante Matrix. You can blow this out to like huge, and then you just basically click on the cross point and click the box, and then it's sending one thing to the other thing. And depending on if it's multicast or unicast, you can have one going to many or one-to-one kind of thing. This is an Animan matrix, which comes from a company called Merging. Animan is Audio Network Manager, and so you can have your clock, you can change sample, you can have sample rates within the same clock, change sample rates. It's the similar kind of thing with the routing, matrixy kind of thing. It makes it easy, and you can save settings, presets, because you can see this could get really big. 512 by 512 gets very confusing, and you can't scroll through all of those, this I to this O, so you can have presets. You can shrink these down to groups of 8 or 24 or whatever. This is a new format, which is still the same kind of routing matrix, but now this is done by Direct Out Technologies. It's called GlobeCon, and they are inviting manufacturers to join in and be part of this universal kind of format. So basically, you can see you get a lot more information. You still get the matrix view. You can see the devices down the side there, and depending on the device that it is, you can also connect with USB and get data out of that. And every device has a different kind of availability or what it can do, ins and outs and timing and clock settings and everything like that. So GlobeCon gives you more of a control of the system, as opposed to the AES 67 Ravenna kind of this kind of routing. In all these routing formats and everything, this is where you set your time, you set your sample rate, all the things you need for this stuff to talk. And it's not like plugging in an XLR connector. It's like, boom, there's my audio, tap the mic, boom, boom, I'm there. It's now, okay, is there discovery? Is the sample rate correct? Is there clicky sounds? Is there some clock error or something like that? So it's, we have a whole new set of things we have to do now to transmit audio. Back in the day it used to be easy, but it was hard in those days too, because then it was like, oh, is there ground on this end or this end? And so we had different problems in those days. These days we have now data kind of problems and timing problems and those kinds of things. So I'm just going to sum this up. Basically, there's discovery, so identifying your devices. Timing needs to be PTP. So that comes with some devices could be a master clock. Some devices could be in the group. There's your routing matrix and your compatibility with sample rates. Now, some devices will allow mixed sample rates. So I think I'm going to wrap it there. I don't know, quick questions. I don't know how much time I have. Maybe like 2 minutes, 4 minutes. So if you guys got any questions, I might want to answer. At HHB, we sell merging, we sell CalRec, we sell direct out. Those are the 3 big broadcast and those kinds of devices. So those devices are all, we're fully AES compliant, AES 67 compliant, 2110. Everyone's moving to 2110, and it's a whole new world. IBC, there's great announcements for new products. Direct Out just announced a device that is so modular and compatible with everything. It's like scary. And then their new Globecon software, and merging has new stuff, and CalRec has always got new stuff. So, yeah. Questions? Okay, you guys know everything. Awesome.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, thank you.